This is funny. Putin is threatening to destroy US F16 fighter jets. Like, how is he gonna do that? Like, what? Is he gonna use some tactical nukes or something? Is he gonna, like, try to sabotage these F16 jets? Like, whatever, dude. Putin, his military and his weaponry sucks.
Well, President Putin has accused the West of seeking Russia's strategic defeat in the war, and he threatened to target US-made F-16 fighter jets if they're supplied to Ukraine.
Wow, that's hilarious. Putin accuses United States of wanting Russia to lose the war. Wow, that's a big surprise. The enemy wants you to lose.
Speaking at his annual economic forum, Mr. Putin said his country remained strong despite international sanctions. Our Russia editor Steve Rosenberg reports.
He can't put a foot wrong, he'd like us to think. So in St. Petersburg, Vladimir Putin delivered two messages to his people and to the world: that Russia's economy has survived sanctions and Russia's army will be victorious.
We see that the West is doing all it can so that Russia suffers a strategic defeat on the battlefield. But soon, Ukraine will stop using its own military hardware altogether. There's nothing left. Everything with which they fight and use is brought in from abroad. You can't fight like that for long.
No, well, as long as the uh, outside nations are continually supplying you with resources, yeah, it can basically be an indefinite war. As long as, you got enough bodies.
The Kremlin leader claimed that Russia's military is inflicting heavy casualties on Ukraine, and he warned the West against giving Kiev US-made F-16 fighter jets.
Their tanks are burning. Several tanks have been destroyed, including Leopards. And the F-16s will also burn.
Though, how many of your tanks have been destroyed, Putin? He once act all big and bad because a few American tanks have been destroyed. But I bet the number of Russian tanks destroyed is massively higher. This dude is worried that once the Ukrainian people get F-16 jets, that Russian air superiority in the area will be challenged and reduced.
I have no doubt. If the jets are stationed at air bases outside Ukraine and used in combat operations, we will have a look at how and where we can hit the hardware being used against us.
So he's threatening to attack other nations if they station F-16 fighter jets. So he is willing to go to war with the entire world.
How times have changed. Western leaders and investors used to flock to St. Petersburg for what was Russia's flagship economic forum. They're staying away now because of the war.
Though it's funny how this guy is threatening the United States for giving Ukrainians F-16 fighter jets, but he's all okay with giving Belarus tactical nukes to use against whoever. So, like, what's the difference? I mean, tactical nukes are actually a lot worse.
And they're not the only absentees.
As you can see, this is not St. Petersburg. This year, journalists from what Russia has officially labelled unfriendly countries, and that includes Britain, have been barred from the Economic Forum. First time that's ever happened, a sign of the times, as relations between Russia and the West have gone from bad to worse, to even worse than that, over Russia's war in Ukraine.
A war Vladimir Putin seems determined to continue. But behind his public confidence, the pressure's growing.
He's cornered. He doesn't have visible exit for himself, and because of that, he has to continue this war until the end. What does it mean end? What does it mean endpoint? What does it mean victory? Nobody knows.
After more than 2 decades in power, Vladimir Putin has grown used to winning. The possibility of defeat he will find hard to contemplate. Steve Rosenberg, BBC News.